This Matchday 27 picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code PLGP to get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Earn up to $750 per month on your sports gambling transactions. Go to edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Rhythm is giving away a $250 future and throwing a March Madness party. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party for details. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Monday, the 24th of February. We are here to analyse. Analyse? A bit strong, that, and we're not analysing anything. We'll have a look at the Premier League weekend that finished a few hours ago. And we're straight back into it. Premier League starts again tomorrow. So it's a quick in and out. And who doesn't like one of them? Big fan, Mr. Barry Penaluna. Bazza, how are you?
I'm all right. Seems like I'm getting a bit of grief in the chat for being a little bit late.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, listen, I'm a community guy, volunteering every day and every night. I've been down the football club, keeping that club going, keeping it ticking over, important football meetings and things, you know. So, yeah, my volunteering comes first, I'm afraid, because that's just the kind of guy I am.
You're putting the football club community before the Premier League Gambling Podcast community.
Yeah, I mean, just, you know, it's good for my conscience. Every now and then.
Fair enough, Baz, can't argue with it. You're an absolute pillar. That Pride of Britain award, if I don't win it, you should be next in the queue. The chat is buzzing tonight, Baz. I'm going to say hello to everyone first. Callum was first in. He reckons Liverpool are going to win the league. Hot take there. Lee, all right, how you doing? The Backus family are here. Joe Dollar. He's still trying to needle us, even though Newcastle won. I'm not buying that. Slick Rick. Harry, Chelsea. Who else is here? Andy's here, of course. Andy Williams. Subhuman Gaucho. We enjoyed the Gaucho. John Culliffe is here. Gabriel Hall. Gabriel, first time he's caught us live, but been listening for over a year. So welcome along, Gabriel. Jason's joined us as well. So if you are hiding in the chat, by all means, say hello and give us a few picks as we go along. It's a bit of a nothing weekend, really. Oh, Gabriel's in Kentucky. That's all right, isn't it? We'll be doing the Kentucky Derby soon. Gabriel over on the show with Sean and Ryan. Yeah, a bit of a nothing weekend. Personally, not much to report. I went to Newcastle v Forest yesterday. I have no idea what any of that was about. It just came out knowing less about both teams than when I went in. I unlocked one achievement, Barry, on a personal level this weekend. It's always a badge of honour when you get that warning sign comes on the telly that says it's going to turn itself off because you've been watching it too long, because it thinks you've either died or you've gone out and forgot you've left it on. That's always means you've had a good day. For the first time ever, Barry, I did that in someone else's house this weekend, just by myself. I managed to watch the telly by myself in someone else's house for so long that it threatened to turn itself off. Went out with my mates on Saturday afternoon, because we were trying to book a holiday, Baz, but it was 3 families trying to book a holiday, 14 people. So it's not straightforward, is it? So everyone's got their laptops on the kitchen table and they're Googling things and they've all got their own ideas. Who wants the beach? Who wants the thing? This, that, and the other. And I quickly realised I had no part in any of that. I was of no use to anybody. I didn't care. I had no opinions. And I certainly didn't have any money to contribute towards it. So I took myself off into the lounge and put the football on. And about 7 hours later, while they were still hunched over the kitchen table, I got the warning signal saying it was going to turn itself off. So that's the first time I've ever done that in someone else's house, Baz, which I think might be some kind of world record. VAR on the referees. very much had their fingerprints all over the whole weekend of football, which was a bit silly as per usual. Baz, actually, I wanted to mention Sports Mad Alex on Twitter, who's a Man United fan, and claims that we're quite harsh on Man United. He says it was a turn-off, all the Man United baiting. But I think we just hate everyone in equal measure. So Man United have probably been in the barrel slightly more than usual. Even today, you're not allowed lasagna anymore. Jim sorted that out. No lasagnas. You can have an apple and that's it. So, sorry, Alex. We won't try not to. But we are equal opportunity haters. We do just don't like everybody. So he says he still likes listening, even though we pan Man United. So cheers for that, Alex. Baz, anything to tell us from the weekend?
I mean, we had a few bits on Twitter, didn't we? Somebody else dared to call us miserable when it comes to Champions League. I think I shared the Champions League draw.
Oh, yes.
To which he said, I'm sure you two will still find something to moan about. And he's quite right. We are moaning miserable bastards about a lot of things. But
yeah, true.
That's just us. We are what we are. We're not trying to be anything different. But yeah, you mentioned that warning on the telly. Mine telly, it comes on like every hour and a half. It's the most annoying thing.
Oh, really?
I don't know how to turn it off. I don't know how to change the settings so that it doesn't come on every hour and a half. Oh, but that's a regular occurrence in this house, like 3 or 4 times a day. That button needs pressed. But yeah, otherwise I've had a busy weekend. As you know, I headed up to the northeast, out for a concert on Friday night. Went to see a few bands. That was really good. Kids enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Out for a nice meal, caught up with family, and then had a horrendous journey home yesterday. Set off 5 p.m. for what would normally be 2.5 hours on a good day, and just hit every little problem. I mean, there was loads of traffic going south because it was after the match. So Forest fans are heading back. Any Newcastle fans from out of town are heading back. There was no trains, so more people on the road. Trains were off yesterday. I hit various amounts of roadworks. A massive accident, which closed the A1 for about 12 hours last night, just in time for me arriving. That sent us on a big it took about 5 hours to get home. It was absolutely awful. So I was glad to get back last night, crack open a bottle of wine. But yeah, good weekend was had. Football was good. We'll get on to the picks in a minute, but I had quite an enjoyable weekend. But my God, were we close to an absolutely epic weekend, Malcolm. Fucking hell.
Well, this is it, Baz. This is the big question. My picks weren't great. I lost this weekend. I only hit 3. You could put it up to 4 if you want to give me the Everton. We sometimes claim Everton going 2 goals ahead, which would have put me up to about 8 or 9 units. As it happens, I've finished on about 6.5. But the big question is, Barry, how the feck did neither of us hit our stake in Stilton accumulator? Absolutely astonishing, the anatomy of these 2 defeats. And I think it would be a good poll to see who was the unluckiest loser, Baz. So I'll talk you through mine, and then you can talk us through yours. I went for the over 2.5 team total on Brentford, who scored 4 times on Friday night. Brighton, who scored 4 times on Saturday afternoon. And I needed Liverpool to score 3 goals to land that at 30-1. They scored twice in the first half. So that, I mean, an awful lot of the way there. I needed 9 goals. I got 10, and I still didn't win. The most of the way there. And then Szoboszlai goes through, plays in Curtis Jones, and I think I'm done. I've done the silent celebration in here. I was on my feet, arms in the air, like that. Little red line, offside by a fanny's hair. And then nothing else happened. Szoboszlai had another chance later on. So, like, by the smallest of margins, I failed to hit mine. And Baz, yours was equally more unlucky. Do you want to talk us through yours?
I'm claiming mine is more unlucky. By the way, that Szoboszlai goal, I didn't celebrate it because I just knew it was going to be offside. I thought in real time he looked offside, and I held and held. I was really hoping you would hit it. But yeah, mine was a treble, a moneyline treble. Underdogs all over the place. Villa to beat Chelsea, Wolves to beat Bournemouth, and the one that let us down was Everton to beat Man United. 2-0 up, absolutely cruising. They throw it away, and then they get a penalty, which was a penalty all day long. It was a penalty. It was given in the 95th minute. Everton are going to win the game. I'm going to hit my ACCA at 33-1. And then somebody somewhere decided that wasn't going to be the case. And how they got to the decision they did, that they had to send him to the monitor and then not show him the angles that showed that it was a penalty, just show him all the other angles that didn't show it. Absolutely sickening. I did say to you, I am claiming it as a slight victory. Because in the UK, if you bet it with Bet365 or Paddy Power, you'd have got paid out because you go 2 goals up.
I know Paddy Power did it as well.
Yeah, there's a couple in the UK who do it, Bet365 as well. And I did get one person on TikTok who told me they backed it and won because they got paid out on the Everton 2-0 up, 33-1. It just a couple of times I've been close. I'll be staking Stiltons, but never as unlucky as that. I was absolutely furious. At how that
we did mention it on Thursday night that we hadn't had one all season, didn't we? We said we were running out of time to get one, and then for us both to be denied. Well, I mean, we were both at one point like 95% over the line. Everton had that game. Well, you won twice and still didn't win somehow. You were 2-0 up and cruising, and then get the penalty and you're in.
The difference for me was I fell at the first hurdle. Like mine was the first game on the card, and then Wolves went and won, and then Villa won, and then it was like, sake, that would have came in. So that was, whereas yours, you'd got the 2 hardest legs in, and then the Liverpool one going 2-0 up so early on, you think can't possibly lose, and somehow you did. Unlucky, but getting close, and. I mean, it was the underdogs weekend. We'd done well, picked some good prices in those. I backed. You had Villa. Was Villa your underdog pick?
Yes, we are. Yeah, we hit the double dogs. Yeah, we did. You at Wolves, I at Villa, which was about 13-1 if you parlayed them both on Saturday.
4-1 Wolves was one of my best picks of the week. As my underdog shout. So, I mean, my picks overall was decent. I hit 6, but it felt a lot better than that. Because again, I feel that I say this every week. The ones that I missed, I just feel I was so close to hitting. So 6 out of 10, but I had Everton to beat Man United. Felt unlucky. Arsenal, I mean, I wanted to factor West Ham in, but the way I did it was taking both teams to score. So all I needed there was an Arsenal goal. The Fulham game, I took the over 2.5. So again, I'm 1 goal out. The only game where I sort of was comfortably beaten really was the over 3.5 in the Liverpool game. But otherwise close on lots of things. But the good stuff, as I say, put Wolves out as double chance, put them out as my underdog. Ipswich, Spurs, both teams to score. So even though Spurs smashed them, Ipswich still got the goal. And the money line stuff was good. We both took Villa, both took Newcastle. Obviously you took Brentford. Brentford we absolutely nailed. I took the team total. You took Brentford. You even called a 3-0. You nearly hit your 3-0 at one point, although it was going to stay 3. So yeah, I thought overall good week. But my God, we needed one of those big hackers to come in.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. If anyone's still here in 38 minutes' time, I've got a 690-1 shot, Barry. Tonight there'll be more steak and Stilton pies all around when this hits, and it's not even that far-fetched, Barry, believe it or not. I'm not saying it's a banker 690-1 shot, you know what I mean? But it's not beyond the realms of possibility. Eye catchers we're a bit short of time for, and on the grounds we're getting to every team in the next half an hour or so. We'll go through what we thought of their weekend performance as we handicap these games coming up. Cree has joined us. Cree, welcome along. Good to see you. Forest Arsenal under 2.5. Cree's gone for. That's his bet of the week. We'll crack on with these games that start tomorrow night. We've got a promo for March Madness at the merch store. 20% off with the code SGPN. That is, where's that? sportsgamblingpodcast.com/merch. Code is SGPN. Edge Boost have partnered up with us here. Edge Boost is a card that allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied anywhere you have a bet. You can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards for using your Edge Boost card. It's FDIC insured. There's no credit checks. It's completely free. That is edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGPN. Edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And mybookie.ag. Every sport available on there, the live dealer casino, loads of locations accepted, fast payouts using crypto. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Tell you what I did see tonight, Barry. I saw Ben Brereton Diaz having a go at someone for diving in the Leeds United, Sheffield United game. Where do these people get off, honestly? It was a blatant dive, but then Ben Brereton Diaz is picking him up off the ground, wagging his finger at him. I mean, come on. Leeds were brilliant tonight. Took their time about it, about getting the win. They were 1-0 down after about an hour, quite similar to the Sunderland game last week. But they are the best team in that league by a country mile. Hopefully, they'll put up a better show next season than these teams have attempted this time round. John's enjoyed my ad reads, Baz. Big fan of the seamless ad reads. So there you go. I'm a man of many talents, as we all know. We start on Tuesday night with a five-a-side just been cancelled tomorrow as well, so I can watch all of this. I'm delighted. 7:30 kickoff. Must be one of these Amazon weeks, I think. Brighton take on Bournemouth, where Brighton will go off at 11-10, plus 110. The draw is 14-5, plus 280. And Bournemouth have been on the slide a bit here. We're 21-10 this afternoon, are out to 9-4, plus 225 Bournemouth. So a little bit of money for Brighton. Bournemouth on the drift. Brighton have won 4 out of 6, but I think you can pick holes in the form, Baz, because the 4 wins are Ipswich, Man United, Chelsea. I'll give it, but Chelsea can't beat anyone. In Southampton, 4 teams, all 4 teams can't beat anyone at the minute. So yeah, they can only beat what you put in front of them. But they've only won 4 out of 12 of their home games. So I just think the 11-10 is too short. Bournemouth have lost 2 out of 3. But the loss against Liverpool, I think, was a little bit unlucky. And then on Saturday, the red card did for them. They were behind at the time, but as it happened, no, they weren't, sorry. It was 0-0 at the time. Wolves had to start as well. It was a red card that VAR had their fingerprints all over for absolutely no fucking reason whatsoever. They could very happily have just left that alone. This just should be a match on the books. These teams, we know there's 6, 7, 8 of them in the league now that are all identical, and this is 2 of them. So I don't know why they're not the same price. Bournemouth are above Brighton in the league. They've got very similar styles of play, similar managers. It just looks like a coin toss. Like if they played this game 10 times, like all the results are on the table, and at that point you have to back Bournemouth. Like you're giving us 2-1 heads. I just don't get it. So I'm going to take the Bournemouth money line here, Baz. I've got dogs all over the place tonight, Barry. And Bournemouth are my first one at 9-4, plus 225.
I wasn't a big fan of Bournemouth yet, to be honest, as I wasn't a big fan of them last week, and was right to be. So I haven't gone the other way, though. We can both be a winner. I thought it was a good game to start off with. 2 teams, in fairly decent form. Brighton getting back into a bit of form with 3 straight wins. Bournemouth looking to bounce back after a disappointing one at the weekend. And I've done quite well with both of these sides recently. Both took Chelsea to get beat by Brighton twice. I took Brighton in the handicap at the weekend. Took Bournemouth to fail at the weekend. That went well. But I just struggled a little bit with this one. I couldn't get there on either side of it. Brighton won the earlier fixture 2-1 away at Bournemouth. And actually, when you look at Brighton's form, their away form looks a lot better than home form. Before those back-to-back wins against Chelsea, they had no win in 5 at home. And I think away from home, they'd won 4 of their last 5. Much better form away from home at the minute. So Brighton back at the Amex doesn't necessarily lean in their favour. I was drawn at goals here. 7 of the last 10 for Brighton. Games have gone over 2.5 goals. And the last 4 straight all went over 2.5. Both teams are in decent scoring form generally. It's the over 2.5 in both teams to score here. I can see both teams making a game of this one. 2-1 either way, maybe a 2-2 or something. You can have your 2-1 Brighton and we'll all be a winner. But the pick for me is both teams to score and over 2.5 goals between Brighton and Bournemouth at 4-5.
I picked Bournemouth, so I don't want 2-1 Brighton, Baz. That's no good to me at all.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
7:30 on Tuesday is Crystal Palace against Aston Villa. Palace 7-5. In fact, Palace have drifted 6-4 plus 150. The draw 5-2 plus 250. Villa are 17-10 plus 170. Nipped in from 9-5 plus 180, Baz.
Yeah, Palace in great form at the moment, but much like Brighton, the best of Palace's form seems to come away from home as well. The last 2 home games for Palace, they've lost against Everton and Brentford, but they've won the last 5 away games on the bounce. So again, Palace at home, sort of less favourable in terms of their form. I'm sure I pointed this one out last week, but it's extended further. The last 5 wins for Palace now have all been 2-0. That's pretty ridiculous. But if you fancy Palace, keep with the 2-0. Villa are currently 4 games unbeaten and do look a little bit revitalised with the new additions going well since the transfer window. I found this one a bit tricky because, well, but 2 teams that in very recent times have been in good form, but it's very similar to how you've played the last one. You've got Villa as underdogs, and that's drawn me in. They've looked decent the last few games, as of Palace, but those back-to-back home defeats for Palace just left enough of a question mark for me. And I feel this is a bit of a close match, and Villa at 9-5 look a good price. If you want a little bit of insurance, you can get Villa on the draw no bet market at evens. I think I don't see Villa losing it, but I'm going to take Villa as a pick. Villa to beat Palace at 9-5.
Yeah, I've put no insurance in any of mine, Baz. I've got the same pick here. Palace done well at the weekend, played well. It was a 4th consecutive away win, like you say. But they've lost the last 2 home games, Baz, against Everton and Brentford. Do you know what I mean? It's not great. 2 teams that aren't quite as good as Villa, I would suggest. Villa, as you said, the new attacking options looked all right. Marlon, Rashford, Asensio. So they looked good. They looked sharp against Chelsea. Made quite a lot of chances. And again, I just think this is a coin toss, and Villa are the bigger price. Like, it's a theme. You're gonna get a lot of this in the next half an hour. Villa 9-5 plus 180 will be my play here. Third up, 7:30 is Wolverhampton Wanderers against Fulham. There's been loads of line changes since I've done this game this afternoon. Wolves are 17-10 plus 170. The draw 12-5 plus 240, and Fulham 31-20 plus 162. So it's very, very close on the books. Wolves are slowly dragging themselves out of the shit. 2 wins in the last 3. And Wolves have actually passed the eye test, Baz. One of the things, obviously, you picked them at the weekend. Great pick, because they beat Villa and they looked all right in that. They then played well at Liverpool. They were well and truly in that game. So I don't think they were winning out the turn with that win at Bournemouth. Fulham won 3, lost 3 in the last 6. Fulham hard to analyse. They've actually won the last 2 away games as well. This is really tricky. Both teams have got enough unders in recent form, but the unders, that's a match. It's 9-10, minus 111. I actually thought that might be a little bit bigger, so I had to stay away from that one. I couldn't split them, Baz. Therefore, I took the draw. This is 12-5 plus 240. And also, Barry, at 13-2, we haven't had one for a while. This is the 1-1 draw of the week.
It's Malcolm's 1-1 draw of the week. Both teams scored a goal.
Well, hey, 1-1, Baz.
Don't think so. Delighted with my Wolves pick at the weekend. 3 wins from 4 for them now. Saw them step out. Before that, they'd had a horrible run of fixtures. They faced Liverpool, Villa, Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle, 5 on the bounce. And a little upturn in fixtures for Wolves has seen them turn things around a little bit. You mentioned there as well the defeat of Liverpool, but I thought Arsenal also, they competed well. And it was that which gave me the sort of encouragement to take them at the weekend. Fulham slipped up against Palace at the weekend, failed to register a single shot on target in that game as well. And the thing that a spot with Fulham is again and again, they're never keeping clean sheets. Just one clean sheet in 11 games now. And that was against Leicester. Palace put a couple past them at the weekend. West Ham, Ipswich, Bournemouth have all put 2 past Fulham in recent times since Christmas. And the Wolves stats for those last few games just shows a decent uptick in chances created for Wolves. Decent uptick in shots taken. I'm keen to keep Wolves on my side here. I've pivoted on Wolves. We'll see whether the weekend was just a flash in the pan. But Wolves have been much better recently. No doubt about that. A little bit of momentum building. And as I say, I don't like Fulham defensively. So I'm going to take Wolves to score 2 or more here. Wolves team total over 1.5 at 6-4. It might be the 2-2 of the week, but it's not going to be the 1-1.
That is a big price bar, 6-4. I'll give you that. That's bigger than I would have had it at. So yeah, don't mind that. Next up is Chelsea. This is a 8:15 kick-off, so 3:15 Eastern on Tuesday. Chelsea taking on Southampton. Chelsea 1-5 minus 500. The draw is 13-2 plus 650. Southampton 12-1, Barry.
Holy shit, 1-5 Chelsea. I mean, they were 2-11 when I looked this afternoon, minus 550. I don't know what to make of that, to be honest. They've just lost 4 of their last 5 games, won 2 of their last 10 in the league, failed to beat Ipswich, failed to beat Everton. That was when Everton was shit. So they can drop points against anyone, or mostly anyone. The problem here is this is Southampton, so it seems less likely. The reverse fixture of this one wasn't that long ago. They played in December, I think it was. Chelsea did win 5-1 at Southampton that day. And Southampton have just lost 8 of their last 9 in the league. So you can see why Chelsea are short favourites, but 1-5 doesn't give you much room to manoeuvre. The pick versus Southampton, which I've sort of picked out a few times recently, is the opposition's team total. Southampton concede 3 or more hits nearly every week. Looked at that, 4-7 for Chelsea to score 3 or more. Far too short, given Chelsea aren't really firing on all cylinders at the moment. And then I considered both teams to score. Southampton have scored in 5 straight games. Before the 4-0 at the weekend, they've scored in 5 straight games. So even though they were getting beat, they were getting on the score sheet. They scored in that 5-1 against Chelsea. And as we know, Chelsea don't have a competent keeper. I mean, we've seen it again at the weekend with Jorgensen. Just absolutely threw one in. And they haven't had a clean sheet in 9 games now, Chelsea. So I like both teams to score. That's 3-4 again, a little bit short. I think Chelsea will get the job done. I think they'll beat them. But I think Southampton will score. So I'm going to give Southampton a goal. I'm going to take Chelsea to win and both teams to score. So it's 5-4. Chelsea's last 5 wins all saw them concede a goal. And as I say, Southampton have been scoring goals in games despite the fact they lose every week. So yeah, Chelsea win and both to score. 5-4 will be my pick, yeah.
I would have taken the same bet, Baz, had I not taken Southampton to score a goal at the weekend against Brighton. I had my fingers burned because I handicapped the cock and balls off that game and picked the wrong bet. I got everything right except the actual bet, which is the point. So I can't go in there again. We did point out in actual words last week that Chelsea didn't have a goalkeeper, which I was delighted about when what's his name threw that in the other day. I thought Chelsea played all right the other day. They made plenty of chances. It was kind of end to end. Palmer missed that chance when Martinez slipped, and then Villa go and score the one at the other end. I thought they were unlucky not to get a result, really. Southampton are in absolute shambles. All the prices on Chelsea goals are really, really short because I think they can score at least 3 or 4. So I found a little stats pick, Baz. Brighton had 11 shots on target against Southampton at the weekend. By themselves, by the way. Not 11 in the game. They had 11. The match total here is 11.5 for the game. And I think Southampton could join in, as you say. Chelsea don't defend particularly well. Southampton, if they don't score, could get 2 or 3 shots on target. So over 11.5 shots on target. There was 13 in that Villa-Chelsea game. Chelsea had 7 of them. So 7 against Villa, I think, can translate to 10 or 11. And I'm going to throw out a bit of a rogue one here, Baz. This is Chelsea to score a penalty at 11-4, plus 275. I've just got a feeling in my water about that one. But the main play is going to be over 11.5 shots on target at even money. I'll do another ad read for you, John. Hold on tight. This is Rhythm. Rhythm are throwing an epic March Madness party, and you are invited. All Rhythm users are invited to a first 4 watch party Wednesday, March the 19th at the awesome Stadium Swim at Circa Las Vegas. Free drinks, plus you get to hang out with the guys. Barry's going from the Sports Gambling Podcast, and the college experience gets better. Rhythm are giving away $250 March Madness future for one lucky Rhythm user. Sign up for your 7-day free trial at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Come by and use Rhythm to help fill out your bracket and make some bets while you're there. A free party plus a chance at a $250 future. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party for details. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party. And Underdog Fantasy with the pick'ems on NBA, NHL, college basketball, whatever sport you like. Go to underdogfantasy.com with our promo code PLGP for a special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Underdogfantasy.com, promo code PLGP. Okay, next up, we go to Wednesday evening, 7:30 kickoff. Brentford take on Everton. Brentford are even money. The draw is 27-10. And Everton are 5-2 plus 250. Brentford cruised past Leicester on Friday night. We did point out that they win against the bad teams. That's very much their split. Everyone thought it was a home split and an away split. Turns out it's a good team v bad team split. Everton were rubbish against Man United, even in going 2-0 up. And I know people think that I'm just down on them. I watched them, Baz. They're rubbish. They've got all their passes are overhit, chest high, to behind. They're really, really bad at football. In fact, demonstrated by the fact they let the worst Man United team ever come back from 2-0 down. Like, that's how bad they are. I spoke to Dave Aran's Duffel Coat, issue 14, £1.20, and he said Dithering Dave does that the whole time. Just refuses to make subs when the game's clearly gone tits up. Brentford are far, far better than them. The overall standard of Everton's play is terrible. They have to regress to the mean really quite urgently because it's unsustainable being this bad and picking up points. Brentford at even money is the second gift Brentford are giving us in 4 days, Baz. So I'll take Brentford.
And I'll go the exact opposite way to you.
You shouldn't be allowed money.
Shut up, man. You're ridiculous. You need to realise when you need to change on certain teams, Malcolm.
I watched them with the iPads. That shite.
You told me this last week when I come to Atlanta v Bruges, and I went and absolutely smashed it. I'll do the same again. I mean, a few weeks ago, I would never be looking at this and considering Everton as underdogs away from home to anybody. You keep going back to how shit Everton are. I disagree. I think they have improved under Moyes. They definitely look better. I mean, they're scoring goals. 14 goals scored in the last 6 games. Do you know how many goals they scored in the previous 6 to that?
No.
1 goal. 1 in 6 to 14 in 6. That's a big improvement. You can't deny there's improvement there with Everton. And I think you've got to consider Everton in games like this now. Brentford are going okay. 3 wins in the last 4 now. And they are coming against sides like this, down at the lower end of the table. But for me, on current form, there's very little between these two sides. If you're looking at recent form, there's very little between the two of them. So Brentford at evens and Everton at 5-2. I have to have Everton as the better value here. Everton double chance, 4-5. For a team who haven't lost in 6 league games, 4-5 is a very good price for me. I'm going to take Everton on the double chance. Everton to win or draw, 4-5.
You've annoyed me that much. I'm going to change my pick to Brentford on the handicap because that's how they're going to win by loads. 5-2, minus 1.5 goals. Brentford. They're going to absolutely bat them. Go up the ladder. I'm putting a ladder out. A Brentford win ladder. Minus 4.5 on the Asian handicap, Barry. That's how much you've agitated me with that. Brentford. Next up, here's something we might agree on, Barry. Manchester United take on Ipswich. Man United are I couldn't find my odds converter thing, went mental today, and claims this price is 53 to 100. I don't know what that means. Minus 188 anyway, Man United. The draw is Burlington Bertie, 100 to 30, plus 333. Ipswich are 5 to 1, Baz. You taking Man U?
No.
What?
I mean, this is fast becoming the most boring segment on the show, isn't it? When we get to Man United, it's all a little bit predictable. Much like Man United's performances at the moment, they are also very predictable. Might have got a draw at the weekend, but it was definitely fortuitous. Once again, didn't come as a result of any great uptick in performance. They're still miles off it. They're still capable of dropping points to absolutely anyone in this league. I mean, we almost saw them drop points to Southampton at one point only a few weeks ago. So even Ipswich can go and get points off Man United here, absolutely. I mean, the problem with it is Ipswich are in shocking form. They've lost 5 of the last 6, including a defeat to Southampton. So even against Man United, I found it a little bit difficult getting Ipswich as a pick at 5s. That's not to say I would rule it out, and I certainly wouldn't discourage anyone if they do fancy it. But they have scored in 4 consecutive games, Ipswich, and Man United have got just 1 clean sheet in 13 games. You're always going to back Man United to concede. And if Ipswich get a goal, then it's difficult seeing them not at least getting close to Man United. They drew with them in the reverse fixture. And Man United at Old Trafford means absolutely nothing now. Their home form's worse than away. They've lost 5 of the last 6. Their struggles seem to be exacerbated when they're at home, if anything. The handicap line here for Ipswich is +1. So that gives me Ipswich and a draw. And also the money back. If Man United were to get some fluky late winner, I'd still get my money back. That's where I've gone. You might have been a bit bolder, but I don't trust Ipswich massively. But they'll keep it tight. Ipswich on the Asian handicap +1 at even money.
Yeah, there's no chance I'm trusting Manchester United, even at this price. I think the nearest comp game we've got was a couple of weeks ago against Leicester in the Cup, which was 1-1. I think they equalised late on and then got an injury time, no VAR offside goal, and managed to win. Ipswich annoyed me at the weekend. That was another game I handicapped perfectly and lost. I took the Ipswich team total over 1.5. And they could have scored twice in the first minute. They hit the post, and they did score. Then they missed loads of other chances. I said Spurs would win 3-2, so I could have taken 4.5 goals. I could have taken anything except what I actually took. But they can't defend for Toffee is the problem. But neither can Leicester. And Man United didn't look like scoring any goals against them. I'm just taking Ipswich, Baz. I might, if something might happen, and I might not win. I 5-1 for a reason, but you just have to. There have to be value to beat this Manchester United team. This Man United team basically lost again at the weekend, even though it finished 2-2 against Everton, who we've just established are rubbish. I'm taking Ipswich, Baz. 5-1.
Before you move on.
What? Yes.
Before you move on, there's a stat I could see the other day. It was absolutely astonishing. I think under Amorim, I think they've played 15 or 16 games. Do you know how many first half goals they've scored in that time, Man United?
I do, because I think they showed it on Match of the Day the other night, Baz. It's 1, isn't it?
1 goal in the first half in 15 or 16 games. That's absolutely astonishing. I don't know what price you get for Man United to not score every half, but I bet you're probably getting plus money most weeks for that. Absolutely ridiculous, that. But yeah, no good. I mean, I looked over the season, they've only scored 9 goals in the first half over the full season.
Especially with some of the Oppo they've played as well. It's not like they've been playing the big teams every week. Gabriel wants Liam Delap anytime. Liam Delap impressed a lot of watchers at the weekend with his performance against Tottenham. Nearly 2-1, apparently, according to Rick, for Delap anytime. James has joined us, James Mafia. He's in Tokyo. That's in Japan, Barry. James has joined us live from Tokyo, so welcome along. Almost as exotic as Uzbekistan. And Courtney in the back, people are asking, can you bet Man United to go 1-0 down? Yeah, you can back the first goal. You can back Ipswich to score first. That is a great bet. Absolutely great bet as well.
9-4 plus 225 for Ipswich to score the first goal of the game.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, well sniffed out there, Patrick, Courtney, whichever one of you it was. 7:30 on Wednesday is Nottingham Forest against Arsenal. Forest are 29-10 plus 290. The draw 13-5 plus 260. Arsenal 19-20 minus 105. Is this me or you, Baz?
You.
Me. So, as I said earlier on, I watched Nottingham Forest yesterday and left a little bit baffled by their performance. You can't see why they've had a good season, Baz. And it's quite straightforward, really. They've got some good players. Two centre-backs are good. I like Murillo. He's my kind of player. Milenkovic just kicks and heads everything that comes near him. I like the right-back, Aina. Gibbs White's a very good player. Elliot Anderson was very good. And the way they play suits Hudson-Odoi and Elanga wide. And they've got a system that fits that well, very different to all the very samey systems that we see elsewhere in the league. We talked about Arsenal last week, and their fans appeared to think they were going to win the league because Liverpool had drawn 2 games and hadn't factored in that they don't win enough games. And that was it. Arsenal, it was inevitable they were going to slip up. I fucking danced around taking West Ham at the end of that pod last time, didn't I? And West Ham, I'm going to get to West Ham in a bit, actually, about them mugging me off. And they did slip up, and it's not like they absolutely knocked the door down and couldn't score. It was a fairly toothless effort. Ill-disciplined again, mate. He got sent off. It wasn't a fluke that they lost that game at the weekend. They're devoid of ideas. They've got no striker. And now, having lost that game and then watched Liverpool at the weekend, it's a big old letdown spot for them. They're still going to roll out. He played a CDM up top and thought he could get away with it, man. He's mental. You have to back Forest. Again, it's another underdog play. Forest at 29-10 plus 290. Fefwef in the chat agrees with me as well. Joe wants Forest draw, no bet. And he's gone with a tricky trees in both teams to score. So, yeah, it's a lot of everyone in favour of Forest, Baz.
Yeah, I mean, going back to that Arsenal game the other day, you're right. It tells you how fair a result it was, because I didn't see any complaints from any Arsenal fans about anything. No decisions, no nothing. They were well beaten, comprehensively beaten. And, even before the red card, they were never really looking like they were going to get into it. And I think I mentioned Marino last week. I said Sterling wasn't the answer, but I had a feeling they would go with Marino again just because it had worked in that 10-minute spell against Leicester the week before. You can't think that suddenly means he's your number 9 striker up front for the rest of the season. Surely not. I mean, as soon as I opened this and looked at it, I see Forest at 3-1, and I felt it had to be an attractive pick here. Forest have gone off the boil a little bit. They've lost 3 of the last 4, but all of them have come away from home. At home, they're unbeaten in 6, won 5 of the last 6 at home. The one that didn't win was a 1-1 draw against Liverpool, so a really credible result there as well. They're very hard to beat at the City Ground. I think Newcastle have done it twice, but it's not for everyone. Forest defensive record at home as well remains solid. They've kept 5 clean sheets in the last 9 home games. And with Arsenal very clearly struggling in attack, I couldn't get away from Forest here either. The 5-1 against City for Arsenal stands out like a sore thumb because they were very good that day. But that's definitely been the outlier in terms of performances because they weren't great against Leicester, weren't great against Wolves, awful against Newcastle in the Cup, poor again against West Ham. There's more concerning performances from Arsenal recently than there is encouraging ones. The West Ham result that you've mentioned and then the subsequent Liverpool result, well, it's a massive mental blow for Arsenal because they did feel they were getting back into it for a moment and then all of a sudden it's taken away. I think Forest could exploit that and certainly be competitive in this one. Again, you've been a bit bolder than me. I think Forest double chance. I just can't see Forest not getting at least a draw. Forest double chance, 4-5 for Forest to get a draw or a win is my pick here.
Okay, so all aboard the tricky trees. 7:30 on Wednesday, Tottenham. You're not allowed to call them Tottenham anymore. Did you see that? You have to call them Tottenham Hotspur or Spurs. They put out a press release. So Tottenham are 9-4 plus 225. The draw is 3-1. And Manchester City are even money, drifted a little bit here. Man City v Spurs, Barry.
I didn't really like this one, I'll be honest with you. I mean, Spurs look to have turned things around a little bit. 3 league wins in a row. Slowly getting a few players back and seems to be making a bit of a difference. Man City showing no signs of turning anything around at the moment. Still really annoying looking back at that Newcastle game where we've got beat 4-0 off them. The only good performance Man City have put up in about 2 months. That's frustrating. And I still get to Man City every week, and I've just got this bit of a mental block when it comes to Man City, and I find it hard to oppose them in spots like this, purely down to years and years of them being unopposable. I think it's just, it's in your brain. It feels wrong almost to be sort of going against them. So I've drifted towards the goals more often than not, and done okay with it, to be fair. Spurs have won 2 head-to-heads already this season. They beat them in the league, beat them in the cup. The league won that 4-0 thrashing. It was absolutely astonishing at the time. My first thought was a Spurs team total here, over 1.5 at 10-11. In the end, though, I think City will get involved as well. Spurs still don't have many clean sheets in them, I don't think. Certainly not against decent attacks. So I prefer the over 3.5 goals again. Getting a little bit predictable for me with Man City games, but I just didn't know where else to go with this one at the moment. It's hitting 5 of the last 6 for City in the league. Over 3.5 goals, Spurs v Man City at 4-5.
I knew where to go, luckily, Baz. Spurs have won 3 in a row, only conceded once in those 3 games, got some players back. Spurs always beat Man City. And I mean always, not just sometimes, always. They beat them twice already this year. That was a large part of our Newcastle Forest handicap at the weekend, was that we beat them twice. Spurs have already duffed them up twice. Manchester City never laid a glove on Liverpool yesterday at all. They got smashed at Arsenal. I can't trust them. They always used to Tottenham. And this fits the system of taking Tottenham as dogs. We keep doing it. Tottenham are a cash cow. There's a few teams. I'm taking Tottenham at 12-5. The dogs are bargain, Baz. Plus 240. Tottenham Hotspur on the money line. 8:15 on Wednesday. It is the worst day of the year, Barry. Long-time listeners of the show will know it is the day me and Barry get our period. Well, probably me a lot worse than Barry, actually. Liverpool take on Newcastle United. Liverpool are 1-2, minus 200. The draw is 7-2, plus 350. Newcastle are 19-4, plus 475. It was brought to my attention in the pub yesterday, Barry, by the lads, that I'm turned into Mr. Buzz Killington, and that my determination to hate every moment of the lead up to the cup final, the cup final trip itself, and the actual cup final is already spoiling it for everybody else.
I'm not surprised at that. That doesn't surprise me at all. I don't know why you follow this football team, to be honest with you. It doesn't seem like you enjoy it.
Dom then turned up and said, well, I went to Leeds with him last year, and only when he got in the car did he inform us that he hates away games and they never win. So Dom then doubled down on that. But I am, Barry, I'm going to try and amend my ways. I'm going to try and get some therapy or something. You know, you can go online, say a psychologist. So this time next week, you ask me what that cup final score is going to be, and I'll say we'll win 4-0. Anyway, we'll get a dress rehearsal of this on Wednesday night. I think it's my turn as well, isn't it? Yeah, Liverpool pissed past Man City yesterday. They were supposedly having a wobble after back-to-back 2-2 draws. Newcastle played well for 11 minutes against Nottingham Forest. And if they play anything like they did for the other 79 minutes, they'll get absolutely walloped because they were atrocious. They were also atrocious the week before against Man City. And we pointed this out, Barry. There's a mental block there. We always get spanked at Man City, and we both picked something different 2 weeks ago. We always either A, get spanked, or B, lose in extremely unfortunate circumstances. That's your two choices here. Which one's it going to be? Are we going to get walloped, or are we going to get duffed up by the ref in the 98th minute? Like, which one? It's up to you. I'm going to go for the get walloped angle, Barry. Liverpool on the handicap, 5-4 plus 125.
Yeah, I mean, although Liverpool looked good at the weekend, I know Callum had mentioned earlier he didn't think they were actually that good. They were just clinical. Obviously, massive step towards the title. And this one was fairly quick for me as well. Newcastle's record at Anfield is shocking. Now, the same could be said for Old Trafford, the Emirates, Spurs, and we have overcame that in recent times. But Liverpool just always seem to have our number. And even if we play well, you've mentioned, something terrible will happen. Even if we play well and put out in a performance of our lives, something terrible will happen. And if it's going to happen, it might as well happen now than in the final in a few weeks' time. They can have this one as long as we can put up a proper fight in a couple of weeks.
It always happened both, but
well, it could. We're lacking a bit of consistency lately, and it's hard to make a case for Newcastle here. Liverpool did make hard work of Wolves at home, and they have dropped points since Christmas to Man United and Fulham not that long ago as well at Anfield in both of those. But it's the history of this fixture that's got me struggling. Newcastle have picked up just 1 point from this fixture in the last 7 meetings at Anfield. The positive for Newcastle, Liverpool don't keep many clean sheets. They haven't kept a clean sheet at home in the last 5. But even if Newcastle get on the score sheet, I just don't see us stopping them at the other end. Liverpool are 1-2 are fine for your Rackers. But I've taken a handicap as well. I've gone for the Asian handicap. It's actually not that much shorter than yours, to be fair. -1 on the Asian handicap at 4-5. So Liverpool win by 1 goal. I've got that money back option. I just can't see Liverpool not winning this one. So I'll take Liverpool on the Asian handicap, -1 at 4-5.
The other little cosmetic thing here is he's put Nick Pope back in goal at the weekend, and I don't think he's very good.
He was
He hasn't been very good.
I think he was poor for all 3 of their goals. I mean, the first one was ridiculous.
Generally, just for the last 18 months, he's very, very, very stiff. His positioning's weird, and I don't like his hair. But yeah, I'm not hugely sold on Dubravka. Actually, he's been in better form, but he was nearly out the door. So yeah, we are lacking a little bit in the goalkeeper department. There is one game on Thursday night to round us off here, which is an 8 o'clock kickoff between West Ham United and Leicester City. West Ham 3-5, -166, I think. The draw is 16-5 plus 320. Leicester 4-1, Baz. Just a side note on this one before you handicap it. Leicester City sacked my mate today. Ben Dawson got the bullet. I don't know why they sacked Ben and the other first team coach. I don't know if it was a scapegoating thing. Van Nistelrooy's got away with it, and they appear to have blamed Ben and the other coach. So I'm sure he'll be all right. He'll have paid his contract up, so he'll not be short of a few quid. But yeah, a little bit disappointing. Interesting to see where Ben ends up. But yeah, West Ham, Leicester, Barry.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that news, to be honest. But yeah, it's a little bit of a strange one, that one. Leicester are a mess. Lost 10 of the last 11 in the league. Very much now in the same bracket as Southampton in terms of form and being absolutely unbackable. 9 of those 10 defeats have come by 2 or more goals as well. They've scored just 2 goals in their last 8 games now. Totally stopped scoring. At the beginning of the season, they were at least scoring goals. Not even doing that anymore. Impossible to make a case for them here. West Ham won the reverse fixture 3-1. And although their recent form is average, the win over Arsenal at the weekend would have been a massive boost for West Ham. You've got to keep fading Leicester, and you just keep taking them to lose by 2 or more because it hits every single week. West Ham on the handicap, -1.5. 13-8. It's a big plus money price, that.
What was the pick, Barry? Sorry.
West Ham -1.5.
Okay.
13-8.
Yeah, I handicap that. Similarly, I've got a different pick. Gabriel agrees with you, Baz, -1.5 over Leicester Cards for Fairworth. Pete's joined us, Pete's picks. I'll stick that up on the screen. Final Edgar in the 5 o'clock tomorrow at 7.5 to 1. Pete, fancy price there. Yeah, fucking West Ham, Barry. Mugged me off. 2 weeks ago, I sat here and said they were going to be a great team to follow between now and the end of the season. They're going to make us some money, Baz, I said. Then they lost at home to, who was it? Brentford. And then they go and win it. Was it 9-1 the week before? I'm going to turn my pages over in a rage till I find the price. West 9-1, yeah. So I pretty much would have guaranteed that profit had I carried on taking them. So it turns out I am a genius. I just forgot that one. Bowen makes a huge difference. Bowen's come back and he's in good form. Leicester are rubbish. West Ham to score over 2.5 goals. Now, Leicester can't defend for a toffee. Brentford could have had millions the other night. There's actually not an awful lot of data for this. I dragged up Leicester's results, expecting them to have conceded loads every week. And they actually haven't conceded more than 2 that often. But I think West Ham can get to them at home here. Because I like the price, Baz. It was 2-1. I thought that was a really big price for West Ham to score over 2.5. So that will be my pick. 10 games, Barry. In the hutch. Do you want to lead us off with your Exotica?
Yes. Give me 1 second. My underdog, I'll start with my underdog, is Villa at 9-5 to beat Palace. My lock's going to be the both teams to score and over 2.5 goals in the Brighton-Bournemouth game. I like that one for both teams getting involved. Scorer this week, I'm going to go for Marmoush. I like the look of Marmoush. I know Man United, Man City are a bit rubbish. But it looks like Haaland's probably going to miss a bit of time, isn't he? He wasn't involved the last 2 games. So I'm going to take Marmoush at 8-5, anytime scorer, 6-1, first or last. And then I'll jump into my Accas. I'm going to start off with an over 2.5 goals. Acca, it's the Wolves v Fulham, Chelsea v Southampton, Spurs v City, Liverpool v Newcastle, all over 2.5 goals. Comes in at around 4-1, I think. I forgot to write that down. Am I staking still, Naga? I'm going to carry on with the money line long shots here. Got close last week. Hit 2 out of 3 a few times on these. So I'm going to ride it again. I'm going to take Villa, Wolves, and Everton all to win. 26-1 is the treble this week for Villa, Wolves, and Everton all to win.
Villa, Wolves, and Everton. Yeah. My lock, Barry, you'll work out what I've done here. I've taken Liverpool -1.5. Can't see any other outcome there. My underdog, I had so much to choose from. But I've gone for Forest, home to Arsenal. I think it's a great price. Forest, 29-10, plus 290. My corned beef pie accumulator, it's just a little double, Baz. And it's Brentford and West Ham. Brentford are going to beat Everton. We fell out about it before. Brentford are beating Everton, and I think West Ham will turn Leicester over. That pays 11-5 plus 320. My anytime goal scorer is going to be Jared Bowen. He's in good form. West Ham at home to Leicester should be goals. I've backed him to score 3. If they do that, Bowen's getting at least one of them. He's 5-1 first and last. Jared Bowen 7-4 plus 175 anytime. And my stake in Stilton, Bars, this is where it gets out of hand quite quickly. So, I've got Villa, I've got Ipswich, and I've got Nottingham Forest. That pays 65-1. However, I have got 5 underdogs on the card here, Barry. As well as Villa, Ipswich, and Forest, I've got Bournemouth and Tottenham. So if you put them 2 in as well, those 5 underdogs, that pays 690-1. So if you want to put on a little lucky 31, which in American would be a round robin, possibly they call it, maybe doubles and up, trebles and up, something like that, 50 pences, all those 5 dogs win, will be rich, rich, rich. Barry, the Premier League Gambling Podcast Summer Ball will be an absolute belter. So yeah, Villa, Ipswich and Forest, then add in Bournemouth and Tottenham for the big old underdog Akabat.
Yeah, I've got a little ladder, only a little step ladder this week. We're not going that high up. It's the Wolves. I like Wolves for shots. As I say, the last few games they've been quite good. They've had, I think it was 16 a couple of times, a few 13s and what have you. So I'm going to go with Wolves shots here against Fulham at home. Over 11.5 Wolves shots. So not shots on target, just shots. Over 11.5, 10-11. Over 13.5. it's 2-1. Over 15.5, 7-2. And then just take a little one step up to over 16.5 at 11-2. So that's Wolves shots is the little ladder this week. And
Okay, I like that,
Malcolm,
the
Battleships.
you're all aboard Wolves now, aren't you? Wolves and Nottingham Forest, your two new favourites.
Battleships.
Oh, Battleship, shit, yeah. And you know
We're
what? It's
gonna
because I
have
put
to
my
do it.
Gregory specs on. I can only see the screen, so anything that's not immediately in front of me, I can't see. I spent quite a long time this afternoon planning my Battleship strategy, and then nearly forgot to play. Gabriel Baz is asking us where's the best place to put his bets off the show. Probably in the Discord channel, Gabriel. And the reason I keep saying Barry is that Barry can put the link in the Discord channel because I don't know what it is. And
Or
Barry
Twitter.
does.
Yeah, you can share stuff with us on Twitter as well. You can always get in touch with us on there easy enough. Or in Discord. If you go to our YouTube profile, there's links to all of our social media stuff as well. So
there you go. Can't believe I forgot Battleships. The bloody hardcore listeners will be devastated, but
no, we're going to do it. We're doing it now.
I know we're doing it now. Yeah, don't worry. But it's just a little bit. I've had a rethink of the odds, Barry. I think you're quite a heavy favourite now.
Well, I was going to say this. Yeah, it's much harder to locate the 2 ship than it is the 3. I've actually done a little bit of playing around with my board today, Malcolm. I can rule out 12 squares straight away on mine. And I don't reckon you could do that because you're looking for a gap of 2, where I'm looking for gaps of 3. So I've closed off all the little 2 gaps that can't have a ship in it, and I've taken a lot of possible options out. Like
I've had to look for like a cross where there's like 3 down intersected with 3 across, so I can take the middle one, thus eliminating a few in any direction. But there's none of that, Baz. There's none of that. So I'm putting a lot of thought to right. Come on then, Barry, smart ass. If you've eliminated 12, I'm panicking now. Where are you going?
I am going for D10.
D10 is a miss. Yes, come on. Right, I need to stroke a look now. So I had a look earlier on. I'm going to have to stick down in this corner and go with H8.
H8 is a miss.
Shit, bastard. Shit. Oh, God, that was exciting. Well worth it. Now we're in 3 minutes of anyone's time for that. Fifth reckons I'm moving my ships. I'll send you the photo, Fefwef. That's a scurrilous accusation. That's the sort of talk will get you a 1-week ban from listening to the show. Right, Barry, I think we're done. I'm excited about midweek Prem because I can pretty much watch it all. The no kids training on Wednesday. 5-a-side's cancelled tomorrow. So I can get into the telly going into auto standby mode. I can take root in my corner for the next 3 nights. Do you have anything to tell the people before we go?
No, nothing else. As I say, good few nights with lots of football on, and I'm sure we will be back on Thursday to handicap the next lot.
Yes, I'm off to Google psychologists to turn around my negative mental state around the cup final. Thanks everyone for joining us. The chat was fun. Good luck with all your bets this week. See, like, rate, review, get in the Discord, write nice things, all of that bollocks, and we will see you all down the road. Cheers.